Like any creative process, the way in which you design piping systems is a very personal thing. Fluid Flow 3 has a wealth of options available to allow you to customize the appearance and functionality of the user interface to complement the way you like to work. The first set of options we can set can be found under the View tab. The first set of check options allow you to customize the look of the data palette. For example, we can turn the data palette off completely. This may be useful when building a model because we get more flowsheet real estate. We can also specify which tabs we want to see in the data palette. We can toggle toolbar visibility. The standard options and flowsheet toolbars can all be toggled. We can also cycle through the appearance of the user interface here. Finally, these two buttons allow us to return the menus and user interface layout to the defaults. Some other view options that we can activate from the flow sheet include the ability to unpin the data palette, so it retracts when required. In addition, the palette and any of the toolbars can be docked. The calculation options, which can be found here, allows us to specify some important parameters regarding the calculation methods used for your model. The first tab simply displays some information about the currently active model. The next tab allows the designer to open up the Convergence Criteria. This can be useful for large, complex networks which are struggling to converge. It's important to also return to default settings using this button when finished to maintain the highest level of accuracy. The global settings allow us to specify the value of some constants and assumption. Assume zero flow allows the software to close a pipe when negligible flow is being calculated in a pipe, which helps converge systems. The inclusions allow us to automatically include losses due to expansion and reducer components on either side of a valve, or to automatically include a correction factor for centrifugal pumps pumping high or low viscosity relative to water. Here we can specify the reference conditions for gas systems, either normal or standard. In the two-phase tab, we can specify which method we want to use from the 8 available. The Wally method automatically selects from one of the 3 based on some predefined criteria. The Non-Newtonian and Slurry tab allows us to select the modeling correlation for settling slurries. We have Durand, WASC and WASP methods available. The method for determining the maximum deposition velocity is also available, and to specify some of the constants used in this method. Pulp, paper and stock allows us to select the correlation and also define the tappy pulp size. The Flowsheet Options dialog allows us to customize the appearance and functionality of the flowsheet. From here we can specify the size of the flowsheet and also the scale at which we view it in the interface. We can select the grid size, we can toggle our snap options, and we can specify the background color of the flowsheet. The Split Pipe on Insertion checkbox toggles whether Fluid Flow 3 splits the pipe when a component is dropped onto it. For example, if a 10-meter pipe has a valve dropped onto it, we'll be left with 2 5-meter pipes on either side of the valve. From the Components tab, we can specify some information about our flybys. For example, we can turn them on or off, we can make them transparent, and we can also toggle some of the information shown on the flow sheet. We can show the unique name, node numbers, pipe numbers. We can turn off the warning highlight and show element properties. Here we can also select the colors for our various components within the flow sheet. Environments allow us to specify a predetermined set of options. which include export options, visible results, and results units. We'll talk about exporting in more detail later, but for now let's create a new environment that we'll use for viewing this model in imperial units. First, we need to specify the units we want to use by right-clicking and selecting Result Units from the options. Next, we set the units as we require. Once that's done, we can OK it and select the Save Environment option. This allows us to give it a name. Let's call it Water Systems Imperial Units, and then click Save. We can now select our required environment from the drop-down menu here and easily switch between unit sets. This is also useful when dealing with the gas system, for example, when we may wish to view our flows in mass terms rather than volumetric flow rates. Finally, the Options and Warnings dialog gives the user some control over when warnings are enunciated. The majority of warnings are fixed and can't be turned off, but some are discretionary and can be toggled from here. We can also choose the display language from here. In our next video, we'll get back into designing our system, demonstrating how to balance or control flows and size pipes effectively.